My fiancé Leon, who I had been in a relationship with for 5 years, publicly went back on his word at our engagement party, saying he wanted to marry my sister. Just because my sister provoked the infamous and violent prince of the capital, Ethan, he declared that the daughter of the Jiang family must marry him. Leon was afraid that my sister would suffer and be bullied if she married over there, so he resolutely decided to marry her to help her avoid marrying Ethan. I stood awkwardly at the engagement banquet, listening to Leon point at my nose and say, "You've waited so many years, what's a little longer? My relationship with your sister is just a performance, wait another 3 to 5 years, and I'll come to marry you." "Evelyn, Ethan has already lost 2 wives, can you bear to see your own sister marry Ethan?" But he forgot that if my sister didn't go, it would be me, who has loved him for 5 years, marrying Ethan. Later, I became a pawn in marriage, and coincidentally, the hotel where we got engaged was the same one. That day, I wore a pure white dress, standing beside another person, watching from a distance as the eternally graceful Leon fell heavily to the ground, carelessly reaching out to me like a madman. I just smiled and, happy engagement. "Mom, I agree to marry Ethan." The room was silent, and my mom asked me in a trembling voice, "Have you thought it through?" I naturally know why she is so shocked. I had been in love with my boyfriend Leon for 5 years, and just as we were about to step into the hall of marriage, he boldly announced at the engagement banquet that he would marry my sister instead. Upon learning of this, the parents were nearly driven mad with anger and raised their hands to strike the younger sister. Leon tightly protected the person behind him, "If I don't marry her, she'll have to marry Ethan." Who doesn't know that Ethan is a sadist? He's already killed 2 wives. How can you bear to push your own daughter into the fire pit? Mother scolded angrily, if she hadn't shamelessly provoked Ethan, how could this trouble have happened? My sister Lily is determined to find a wealthy man. Knowing that Ethan has a bad reputation and ruthless methods, she still goes to provoke him. She always believes that her beauty can conquer such a man, but Ethan nearly took her life. My sister hurriedly ran back, and the next day, the Jiang family received a proposal from the Ji family for their daughter to marry Ethan. Ethan said that if the daughter of the Jiang family does not marry him, she will become his rival. With a background like the Jiang family, how could they possibly compete with Ethan? If they refused, it would only lead to bankruptcy and ruin, leaving them with nothing. The hundreds of employees at Jiang's company all depend on the business for their livelihoods, and my parents can only compromise. But Leon clearly didn't care about that. He said, "Lily and I will get engaged first. Then Ethan won't be so aggressive." Mother looked at him, then at me, and hesitantly said, "But what will happen to Evelyn if you get engaged to Lily? If my younger sister does not go for the marriage alliance, then it will naturally be me who goes." Leon frowned, "Is this the time to pressure me into marriage for Evelyn? Can't we wait a few more years? She's already waited 5 years, what more is there to wait for? Who in the Beijing circle doesn't know about my relationship with her? Are you afraid I might run away? Evelyn, you really look terrible when you want to get married." I shuddered all over, looking at Leon in disbelief, never expecting that the person I had loved for 5 years would say such words. Leon saw my pale face and realized that he had gone a bit too far. He spoke urgently, "That's not what I meant. Evelyn, Lily is your sister, I can't just stand by and watch her die." I stared blankly at this man, he had changed so much, no longer the one I once knew. I met Leon in college, he fell in love with me at first sight and has been madly pursuing me ever since our first meeting. As time went by, I gradually developed feelings for him and we established a relationship. During that time, Leon truly cared for me. He remembers every one of my menstrual cycles, remembers all my preferences, and takes care of certain things for me. He always says that in the future, he wants to give me the grandest wedding. I kept waiting and waiting. I thought we would be happy forever, until my sister returned from studying abroad, and everything changed. Since childhood, whenever it was my possession, Lily always liked to snatch it away and then destroy it. Ever since she returned to the country, she has shown a great interest in Leon. At first, Leon ignored her, and I tried to avoid them meeting, but gradually, I noticed that Lily and Leon were becoming closer. I tried to talk to Leon, reminding him that Lily is my sister and that he should be mindful of the distance. Lily immediately reddened her eyes. Sister, I am your biological sister, Lily is my brother-in-law, do you really need to guard against me like this? If I really make you that uneasy, I won't come over anymore. Leon immediately put on a stern face. Evelyn, you've gone too far. As the older sister, you should be taking care of your younger sister, but what have you done? You've spread rumors about her several times, saying she's not good enough. I never expected your jealousy to be this strong. Only someone like me would dare to marry someone like you. Since then, Leon has told everyone that I am jealous and love to be possessive, so I can only step back and endure little by little. Until today, it was clearly my engagement party, but Leon was holding Lily's hand. He looked at me cruelly and said, Evelyn, I can't possibly ignore Lily. I stood frozen in place, watching them leave hand in hand, the engagement party in disarray, with relatives whispering to each other. After so many years of being together, I can't even keep a man. My sister stole my boyfriend, and this family is not doing well at all. What are we going to do? Lily has run away. Who will marry Ethan from the G family? The young master of the G family has said that if the daughter of the Jiang family does not marry him, he will make the Jiang family go bankrupt and have no foothold in City A. The Jiang family's daughter, isn't there still one? My heart sank little by little. The man who once loved me finally abandoned me and personally pushed me into the abyss. My parents eventually talked to me about this marriage. I stumbled out of the auditorium, and as I came out of the restroom, I heard the sticky, sweet sounds of a couple. I looked up and saw two familiar people standing at the end of the corridor, embracing each other intimately. Leon was still wearing the suit I had chosen for him, and in his arms, Lily was dressed in a matching white tulle dress, giving them a somewhat couple-like appearance. Don't be afraid, I won't let you marry Ethan. But you made my sister so embarrassed today, I feel really sorry for her. Leon frowned. I've been annoyed with her for a long time. It's better if she doesn't forgive me, let's just get married directly. After speaking, he lowered his head and carefully kissed Lily. His movements were so cautious, so precious, as if he were holding an incredibly valuable treasure in his hands. It was the first time I saw Leon so infatuated with someone. I was so engrossed that the other person didn't notice my presence, so absorbed that he didn't even see Lily giving me a provocative smile. I chose to marry Ethan, and before that, I prepared to get rid of everything related to Leon. In the small apartment, it is filled with our memories. I packed the clothes I was ready to take, and there was only a small suitcase. I don't know when it started, but I spend more time at home now. After hesitating for a moment, I took out my most precious little alley from the wardrobe. This small box contained all the beautiful memories of Leon and me. Leon is a person who values rituals. He remembers every anniversary and prepares gifts for me. For this, he specifically prepared a box to collect these items. He said, "And this is my unrequited love for you." I slowly opened the box, but stood frozen in place. The gifts, originally neatly arranged and covered with dust-proof bags, were turned upside down in disarray. Our photos looked as if they had been gnawed at by something, shattered into pieces. The little figure that Leon had carved by hand had its head broken off. The things I once cherished have long been completely destroyed. I don't even know how long I sat in the living room, long enough for the sun to set, long enough for Leon to come back. He turned on the light and was startled to see me in the living room. "Evelyn, what are you doing sitting here?" His words halted, and his gaze fell upon the box in front of me. A hint of unease flashed across Leon's face. How did it come to this? I smiled bitterly to myself. Could he really not know why? But I didn't argue with him. I calmly held the box and said, "I'm going out to take out the trash." Seeing this, Leon immediately grabbed my hand and pleaded, "Evelyn, please don't be angry. When Lily came to see you with her pet, you weren't home, so I hosted her. I didn't expect her dog to chew up some things. Anyway, these are all old, I can just get you new ones later. I looked at Leon and gently reached out to smooth the collar he had accidentally creased, only to find a bright red lipstick mark glaring back at me. He followed my gaze and immediately panicked, slapping my hand away forcefully. Suddenly caught off guard, the things in my hand fell to the ground. Inside the box was a glass lamp, and the glass shattered everywhere. I only felt a sharp pain on the top of my foot, and blood began to flow out. Leon was originally trying to hide the lipstick mark on his body, but upon seeing this, he immediately showed a pained expression. He ignored my bleeding foot, ignored the many ruined gifts in the box, and just squeezed the glass shards, complaining, "How could you be so careless? You broke a perfectly good lamp." There were hardly any good things left. At this moment, I felt utterly exhausted. I casually said, "I'm sorry, it's my fault. You go ahead and find someone to deal with this, I'll head back first." Leon's complaints abruptly ceased, and he hesitated as he looked at me. Indeed, if it were before, I would have definitely pursued the matter to the end to get to the bottom of it. But now I simply turned around without hesitation and left this home that never truly belonged to me. I returned home, exhausted, to find the house filled with various relatives, and my parents' faces were not good either. "Evelyn, I heard that your boyfriend ran off with your sister. Is it true?" She reached out and grabbed my hand with great strength. I wanted to break free, but I couldn't. A relative shouted, "You, from the Jiang family, raised such a shameless daughter, you can't drag us down with you. If she runs away, you have to marry Ethan. Yes, aren't you just in a position where no one wants you right now? Don't talk nonsense. Evelyn has already." Mother immediately tried hard. She wanted to explain to these people that I had agreed to marry Ethan, but was interrupted at once. Did I say something wrong? If it weren't for Lily's shamelessness in drugging someone, how could Ethan hold a grudge against her? If he takes revenge on the Jiang family, who can withstand it? Your second daughter deserves it for undermining the eldest daughter. Not a single good person in that whole family. I can't stand it any longer as my relatives keep cursing louder and louder, so I finally blurted out, "I'm going to marry Ethan." They quieted down, staring straight at me, their eyes filled with relief, hatred, and a hint of disdain. In that moment, a sense of desolation washed over my heart. Usually, during family gatherings, they would always praise me for being sensible, saying that I had been obedient since I was little. Back then, if my aunt's child bullied me, she would definitely protect me well. But now, she looks at me with the same hateful gaze as those relatives. Feelings are as thin as paper. I feel utterly exhausted and softly say, "I will marry Ethan. My father has already made arrangements with the G family. The engagement is set for early next month." The relatives' expressions immediately brightened, and they began to smooth things over with polite remarks, but I only asked my mother to see them off. As they were leaving, my aunt looked at me, hesitating to speak, and finally said, "When you get married in the future, live well. Life is long, and it doesn't have to end like this." I want to laugh, but I can only pull at the corners of my mouth. After sending off the last relative, standing on the street, I felt utterly exhausted. Suddenly, I heard a rustling sound. I looked up and saw a familiar figure standing under the streetlight. Leon's face was hidden in the darkness, making it impossible to see his expression. With a cold look, Leon asked, "What marriage? Who is getting married?" My gaze fell on his hand holding the bandage and ointment. I didn't want to complicate things, and simply said, "A relative came over to deliver an invitation for us to attend a wedding at the beginning of the month." He sighed in relief and nodded, "All right. Evelyn, I was a bit impulsive today. I've been under a lot of stress lately, and I didn't mean to make you angry. I specifically bought you some medicine." I lowered my gaze. "If there's nothing else, I'll be heading back now." "Wait, at the beginning of next month, my engagement banquet with Lily. I hope you and uncle and aunt can come. Lily only has you as family, and even if this engagement is just for show, we need family to be there to bless us. He spoke so logically, as if not going would be a sign of disrespect. But he forgot that everyone knew he was my boyfriend of 5 years. I said coldly, things have been a bit busy at home lately, so I might not have the time. Busy? Busy with wedding preparations. Is it that relative? How can that be more important than Lily's engagement party? He wanted to say more, but the urgent ringing of the phone interrupted him, and Leon hurriedly answered the call. Lily, there's a power outage on my side, I'm so scared. Can you come and keep me company? Power outage? Great. Just wait for me, I'll be there soon. Whatever you do, don't open the door. Many people intentionally pull the power switch just to lure others outside. He hurriedly hung up the phone, as if just remembering I was still there, and explained, Evelyn, I'm sorry, I need to check on Lily. She's your sister, and I can't just leave her. I didn't say anything, and Leon didn't need my answer. He shoved things into my hands haphazardly and left, without hesitation. In the dimly lit alley, I was left all alone, tossing everything into the trash can, just like I was discarding those 5 years of feelings. The preparations from the G family were very ample, and Ethan and I's engagement ceremony is at the beginning of the month. The G family booked the most luxurious hotel in the city, reportedly because of the rushed reservation. The hotel even breached contracts with many other clients. But none of this has anything to do with me. I don't know what my future holds, I just numbly put on the prepared dress and let my mother lead me outside. Ethan was wearing a black suit today, and it was the first time I had seen him. My gaze fell on his face, with sharp brows and starry eyes. When he was expressionless, he looked a bit fierce, but he was truly a handsome man. No wonder Lily wanted to provoke him. I wiped away the last tear, reaching out to Ethan. He gently took my hand, and I followed him step by step into the unknown future. In the distance, a clamor could be heard, as if someone was arguing about why their engagement banquet had been cancelled despite having made arrangements. I looked up, and that figure seemed somewhat familiar, but Ethan gently nudged me, and I stopped looking. Leon and the others stood at the entrance of the small restaurant. He had originally planned to book a banquet hall next door, but received a call half a month ago from the manager, who said the entire hotel had been reserved by someone else, and his reservation had to be cancelled. Time was tight, so Leon hurriedly booked a small hotel next door. He stood at the door for a long time but didn't see Evelyn. Just as he was beginning to think she was petty and ungrateful, his friend chuckled and said, Aren't you going in? The bride is getting anxious. Leon frowned and said, Don't talk nonsense, I don't like Lily, I'm just trying to help. Ah? What about Evelyn? The friend exclaimed in astonishment. Leon thought the other party was worried about Evelyn being angry, and he laughed, Don't worry, Evelyn loves me to death and back, so she definitely won't be angry. I'll apologize later, and she'll surely obediently marry me. My friend's face turned pale, and he awkwardly said, But isn't Evelyn supposed to be engaged to Ethan? I heard the person next door who is getting engaged is Evelyn. At the engagement banquet, many prominent figures arrived, and I followed Ethan, my face almost frozen in a smile. It turns out that young Master G's fiancé is the eldest daughter of the Jiang family. What a pleasure to meet. It seems like I heard about my niece's engagement half a month ago. Why is there another engagement banquet? Even if you have money, you shouldn't spend it like this. A coarse laugh echoed, and I looked up to see Mr. Barry standing across from me, the very man who had previously collaborated with my family. Mr. Barry comes from a nouveau riche background and always believes that everything can be solved with money. When he previously collaborated with my family, he once tried to use a large sum of money to force us to terminate our contract with others and work with him instead. But my father was resolutely unwilling, and since then Mr. Barry has been a competitor of our family, secretly resorting to underhanded tactics a few times. Half a month ago, I was abandoned by Leon, and the happiest person was none other than Mr. Barry, who even shamelessly came to my father and said that if I really couldn't get married, being his mistress would be fine too. My dad was so angry that he directly threw the person out, and I never expected to see him at the engagement banquet. But it's not surprising that Mr. Barry now holds a place in the Beijing circle. I lowered my head, trying to diminish my own presence. Ethan had made his conditions clear, aimed directly at Lily, yet it was I who ended up engaged. He must be feeling quite displeased about it, and I would inevitably be put through some trials. Mr. Barry even specifically brought up the previous matter, clearly to slap Ethan in the face, making him uncomfortable, and then seeking trouble with me, right? I glanced at Ethan and saw that his face was indeed not good. I cursed Mr. Barry 1,000 times in my heart, but there was nothing I could do but feel helpless. Mr. Barry, if you can't speak, then don't say anything. Ethan's voice was somewhat cold as he raised his hand to summon the bodyguard. Mr. Barry is not welcome here, please escort him out. Mr. Barry was stunned. Ethan ignored him. Today is my engagement party with Evelyn, and from now on, Evelyn will be my wife. I hope you will respect her as you respect me. Of course, you can choose not to listen, but I'm sorry, a city does not welcome people like you. Mr. Barry immediately panicked and said in a low voice, it's a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding, Mr. Ethan, Miss Evelyn, I spoke out of turn, I apologize. After saying that, he unexpectedly ignored everything and slapped his own face. Mr. Barry's strength was immense, with just 3 slaps, his face became swollen. Ethan merely frowned and glanced at the bodyguard beside him, who immediately stepped forward and dragged the man away. I stood by, dumbfounded, not expecting Ethan to stand up for me, and I couldn't help but glance at him cautiously. He noticed me looking at him, and his originally cold demeanor softened a bit as he raised his arm. After a moment, I realized this was an invitation for me to take it. I linked my arm with his and continued forward, while he walked straight ahead without glancing aside. Yet, I instinctively listened to the guest's words. Those who come from newly acquired wealth lack insight. Miss Evelyn is now, after all, Mrs. Ethan. If she doesn't discipline him, who will? Even if we no longer look favorably upon the Jiang family, we still have to maintain appearances. I understood in my heart, yes. No matter what Ethan's initial intentions were, now he must consider his reputation in public. Just as I was thinking, I suddenly saw a bodyguard approach, whispering a few words to Ethan. Ethan said, you eat something first, I'll be back soon. I nodded obediently and watched him leave. Ethan returned quickly, and when he came back, his face didn't look good. He was gripping my hand a bit too tightly, and as the crowd dispersed, I anxiously followed him back to the room. The room on the top floor is spacious, and from here I can overlook the entire city of A. I was thrown heavily onto the waterbed, watching the man who was untying his tie with some unease. He truly has a handsome appearance. His face was sharply defined, as if carved by a knife, with sword-like brows above a pair of deep, dark eyes. His gaze was profoundly intense, just a glance made me feel a bit frightened, and I immediately dared not look again. I recalled all the rumors about him, and couldn't help but feel a bit anxious. The waterbed swayed, and I nervously closed my eyes. After a while, he gently patted my shoulder, and the man's deep, pleasant voice sounded, sleep now, you've had a busy day, haven't you? The night light went out, and the room fell into silence. I carefully opened my eyes, and saw that Ethan was already fast asleep. He looked much gentler in his sleep. I thought I would be too nervous to sleep, but unexpectedly, in the latter half of the night, I drowsily rolled into Ethan's arms. I felt the man wrap me in his strong embrace, so warm and reassuring. I fell into a deep sleep. The night light went out, and the room fell into silence. I carefully opened my eyes, and saw that Ethan was already fast asleep. Mother looked at me with a troubled expression. Do you want to meet Leon? I pressed my lips together. I have no relationship with him anymore. Now I am Ethan's fiancé. But I heard that Ethan. I recalled Ethan's gentle voice from yesterday, saying, Mom, maybe he's not what you think. I can slowly get to know who Ethan is, but I know very well who Leon is. I don't want to see him, just let him go. Mother sighed heavily, alas. It's for the best. It's good to cut ties with him. I came this time to tell you that Leon has cancelled his engagement to Lily. I looked at her in surprise. Cancelled on the spot? I sneered coldly to myself. Of course, I could guess why he cancelled his engagement to Lily. It was simply because he found out that Ethan and I were engaged. Leon always thought I would willingly wait for him, love him, but he forgot that when a heart is deeply hurt, it naturally stops loving. I don't know if he regrets his decision from back then, but I know that a man like him, if given another chance, would still abandon me on the day of our engagement, just as he abandoned Lily. It may not be that the love is very deep, but he feels that the woman is his possession, untouchable by others. I said to my mother, if you think he has lost the Jiang family's face, then let father settle the score with him himself. Mom, I can't even take care of myself right now. I haven't even regained my own face, so I certainly won't help Lily regain hers. My mother showed an awkward expression. She apologized softly and hurriedly left. I watched her hurried figure disappear, feeling an unexpected emptiness in my heart. When I was young, because I was the older sister, my parents always taught me to be more accommodating to my younger sister. However, Lily had a competitive and grabby personality, and my constant yielding did not bring harmony to the family. Instead, it only encouraged her to be even more aggressive in taking my things. At the age of 18, I finally couldn't help but bring up to my parents the desire to study abroad. After all the procedures were completed, it was Lily who went abroad to study. Before leaving, she specifically came to my room. Sister, I'm sorry, but I also want to go abroad. Mom and Dad decided to give the opportunity to me. I casually tossed the plane ticket into the trash can. If you want to go, then go. I just want to get rid of her, it's the same anywhere. Lily smiled and said, Sister, from childhood to now, you are smarter and more beautiful than me, and your grades are better too. Adults always praise you and tell me to learn from you. But so what? No matter how excellent you are, I can take what you have with just one word. I hope your boyfriend can stick around a little longer in the future. She spoke a prophecy, and indeed my boyfriend left me for her. The crisp sound of glass interrupted my memories. I looked up to see Ethan placing a glass of milk in front of me. He said, I thought you would ask me for help. I laughed and said, do I look like such a foolish person? My life is still in your hands right now. Ethan looked at me oddly and said, you seem a bit different from before. I shrugged and said nonchalantly, I just wanted to let it go. Determined to give up on the scumbag, I saw through the family dynamics and realized that my future partner wasn't as terrifying as I had imagined, so I naturally felt much more at ease. A warm, damp touch came from below, and when I looked down, I realized it was Ethan's dog. It wasn't the legendary precious breed, but a rather comical yellow mutt. I reached out to pat its head, and the dog happily wagged its tail at me, then licked my hand. I couldn't help but find it a bit amusing. Just the day before, the butler had warned me that Ethan's dog was very fierce and advised me to be careful, yet here it was being so friendly. I was having a great time playing with the dog when Ethan slid a black card towards me and said, if you're just staying at home with nothing to do, you can go out for a stroll, but remember to bring a bodyguard. I nodded, though I didn't really want to relax. But thinking about how I would spend my life with Ethan, I decided to buy him a tie. When I swiped my card, it was naturally my own, but the black card he gave me was accidentally brought out. I reached out to take it, but a slender hand caught the card instead. I looked up to see Lily, her face twisted in a malicious glare, directed at me. I said expressionlessly, give it back to me. Lily played with the black card and said casually, I haven't received this card from Dad, he doesn't have a black card of this level. Did Ethan give it to you? I remained silent, and Lily looks at me with jealousy. Are you getting back at me? Because I've been taking your things, you want to take away the person I have my eye on. Her words almost made me laugh in anger. I said coldly, Lily, what were you doing when Ethan said he wanted to marry the daughter of the Jiang family? You were at home crying and begging Mom and Dad to save you, asking me to go marry Ethan in your place. You even went so far as to seduce my ex-boyfriend, making him abandon me at the engagement party. And now you say I stole the person you had your eye on? Lily pressed her lips together. I thought he wanted to take revenge on me. But now looking at it, he truly wants to marry the daughter of the Jiang family. Sister, I'll give Leon back to you, and you give Ethan back to me, okay? Smack. Before she could say anything, I raised my hand and gave her a hard slap. I showed no mercy, and Lily's face immediately swelled up. I reached out and snatched the black card from her hand. She covered her face in disbelief and exclaimed, "You actually hit me? You've always let me have my way since we were kids, and now you actually hit me." Slap. I raised my hand and delivered another slap. You know I've been accommodating you since we were kids, and now you've even stolen my man. Lily, it's not that I don't have a temper, but I've been putting up with you for the sake of our parents and our blood ties. But now, I don't want to accommodate you anymore. As for Leon, any dog of a man can be taken by whoever wants him. Lily covered her face and glared at me fiercely, then she shouted behind me, "Did you hear that? She said she doesn't want you anymore." A bad premonition surged in my heart, and when I turned around, I indeed saw Leon. This time, however, he no longer had the previous vigor and nonchalance. Leon's face was covered in stubble, and he wore a familiar black suit. He was not angered by Lily's words, instead, a hint of pain appeared on his face. Leon said, "Evelyn, I finally found you. Why are you so foolish, really getting engaged to Ethan? Even now, this man still blames everything on me." I looked at him with cold eyes. Leon wore a pained expression. He sought to marry the daughter of the Jiang family solely for revenge. As long as Lily and I are together, he won't find a direction for his revenge, and this matter will naturally be settled. I sneered, "Are you sure he will let it go like this, instead of directly bringing down the Jiang family as a form of revenge for mocking him?" "Leon, do you dare to say you don't know what result Ethan wants?" Leon fell silent for a second, "But it shouldn't cost you this. You clearly love me, being with someone like Ethan won't bring you happiness." I used the black card in my hand as a fan to create a breeze and deliberately said, "Is that so? I think he's quite good. Weren't the rumors about him having 2 wives who died all spread by you? When Ethan and I registered, it clearly showed it was his first marriage." Leon was taken aback. "You married him? I thought you were just engaged." "How could it be?" I laughed and said, "Having been deceived once, I'm afraid of being deceived a second time, so it's definitely safer to get the marriage certificate directly. Ethan is very obedient to me. When I said to get the marriage certificate, we got it that very day. In fact, it was Ethan who brought it up first. I didn't dare to oppose the idea of getting a marriage certificate at lightning speed. But now, this matter has become my best piece of counter-evidence." Leon was indeed flustered. "Evelyn, I got engaged to Lily because she is your sister, and I wanted to protect her. But I never expected it would hurt you." "How could you marry him?" Lily suddenly interrupted him. "What's impossible about her? She broke up with you so decisively, maybe she was already involved with someone else before." I was still wondering why I offended Ethan. It turns out his requests were all for his sister. Leon looked at me, and I was almost amused by these 2 people. At that moment, I had no desire to continue arguing. I coldly looked at them and said, "Leon, you're so smart. Don't you know the consequences of what you're doing? You're just gambling, betting that I would give up the Jiang family for you. You just want to prove that you are more important to me than anything else. It's just a man's boring desire to win." I looked at him indifferently, but I'm not like Lily. I have my own bottom line. I will not blindly adhere to foolish filial piety, but I know my responsibilities. Leon seemed to wither away, and I just looked at him. "Take care of yourself." I turned to leave, and Leon came to his senses, wanting to catch up with me, but he was firmly blocked by the bodyguards. Leon shouted, "Evelyn, Evelyn! I was wrong, I truly love you. Please give me another chance. What is Lily even worth? How does she compare to you? Evelyn. Leon, what are you talking about? Let me tell you, if you don't like it, I wouldn't even bother to like you. I, Lily, can find anyone I want, only someone like Ethan is worthy of me. You put on this big man act, saying you want to protect me, but in reality, it's just to use me. Cheating man. Useless. I don't want to listen to these two dogs barking at each other. I turned to the bodyguard beside me and said, I don't want to see them again. If they come over in the future, just drive them away. When I returned home, I found that Ethan had been waiting for me for a long time. He was playing with the lighter in his hand, and I suspected he might already know about what had happened to me today, which made me feel a bit uneasy. I handed him the wrapped tie. This is for you. Ethan whispered, thank you. He seemed a bit hesitant, but still asked, Evelyn, do you willingly marry me? Do you regret it? I glanced at him and said, even if I say it's voluntary, you wouldn't believe me, would you? He pressed his lips together, looking somewhat unhappy. Actually, at first, I was very unwilling, but one must look forward, Ethan. To be honest, I really don't like you. No one can guarantee that they will fall in love with someone at first sight, so why should I care that my first impression of you wasn't good? Thinking of this, I couldn't help but smile. It wasn't just bad, the Ethan I had heard about before was almost a man-eating demon, violent, terrifying, cold-blooded, and cruel. It was only after getting to know him that I realized he was just an ordinary man, capable of feeling anxious, hesitating, and seeking to please others. I said, but I want to understand you. I looked at him and smiled, are you willing to give me this chance? Ethan nodded slightly, holding my hand as he said, actually, I've known you for a long time. I was stunned. He waved his hand, and the yellow dog happily ran over, but instead of running straight to Ethan, it came right up to me, resting its paws on my legs and wagging its tail. Zay. I heard Ethan's displeased voice. He said, people are not as good as they used to be. What? My hand froze in midair, pausing as I was petting the dog. He said, I found this dog at a university. It was raining heavily that day, and it limped through the rain into the woods, digging itself a big hole. It is said that when dogs know they are about to die, they will choose to dig their own graves. I really like dogs, so I called a veterinarian to save it. When the veterinarian arrived, he discovered that it was covered in wounds from being beaten. I was very angry and vowed to find the person who abused the dog. The result was that a kind-hearted person searching for it in the rain was found first. In such heavy rain, she didn't think to use an umbrella, so I kindly gave her one. I was somewhat captivated, feeling that this matter sounded very familiar. I said in disbelief, that person is you? Ethan nodded, Evelyn, you're right. Love at first sight only exists in fairy tales. I didn't fall for you at first sight or have strong feelings, but I know you are a kind person. My family doesn't need to force your family to marry your daughter to me, but I do need a wife. At first, I just wanted to teach Lily a lesson, but what came was you. I think this is quite good. Maybe if we spend more time together, feelings will gradually develop. What do you call this? Oh, love after marriage? He smiled at me, his eyes bright, as if they contained countless stars. I felt my heart race a little faster. This man truly knew how to showcase his charm. I laughed and said, yes, sometimes being together isn't because of love. We exchanged a smile. Although this marriage was a blind and silent union, it turned out to be unexpectedly good. The clinking of wine glasses produced a crisp sound as we stood side by side watching the sunset. Ethan and I held our wedding a year later, during which our relationship was very good. After becoming Mrs. Ethan, I rarely contacted my family. My parents also felt guilty towards me and didn't take the initiative to reach out. Occasionally, during holidays, I would send them a red envelope. I heard that they sent Lily abroad, giving her very little living expenses, saying they wanted her to study and live well, but the outcome wasn't great. Lily borrowed a lot of money while she was away and got involved in chaotic relationships. In the end, she became pregnant and had an abortion in a rundown clinic, resulting in severe bleeding that nearly cost her life. Later, although her life was saved, she lost her uterus. Leon came to find me a few times, but each time he was blocked by Ethan. Later, Ethan got fed up and set a trap that nearly bankrupted Leon's family. Leon's father came to apologize, saying they would leave City A and never return. That day, I stood far away on the upper floor, watching Leon kneeling on the ground, and suddenly felt that everything had gone wrong. On a midsummer night, I finally welcomed my new life, becoming a loving wife to Ethan.